Woo! This is cute.
Okay, welcome back. Where? It's the first one. On YouTube, technically, it's the first one.
Yeah.
But welcome back to this idea, concept of facing love. Ding, ding, ding. So, today we have with us our first official guest.
Oh my
We
God.
have Samantha Pellarini.
Yay!
So Samantha is an artist, for those of you who don't know. She's an artist, she's a curator, she's a spiritual coach, a witch. Yeah, she's just
Yeah.
an amazing artist who is mostly focused on communication. She likes the idea of how do we communicate to each other, you know? How, like,
can we effectively,
which ways?
communicate what we need and get what we need. So that's why we're really blessed to have Samantha here with us discussing the topic of conflict, how to resolve conflict, how to express your needs during conflict, especially when you're afraid of conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That is going to be our topic for today, and Samantha is here to give her insights. And she has also created her own institute, the Institute of Non-Humans. The Institute of Non-Humans
The
for
non-human
Institute for Humanity. There you go, almost had it.
Did you get it correctly?
I don't think so.
Wait, okay, let's do it again. The Institute for,
No.
of Non.
It's four of
The Non-Human Institute. Why is this so hard to remember?
I don't know.
Let's switch it up. Okay, so the
Uh-huh.
Non-Human Institute for Humanity.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flashback.
No, Nilka.
Yes,
For humanity.
the non-human.
For humanity.
Instead of.
For humanity.
Mm-hmm.
End of flashback.
That's the space. That's the space that you see over there as well, the spaceship, where we can get together and actually talk about interesting topics.
Yeah. The Non-Human Institute for Humanity focuses on the idea of the search for the meaning of home and how the meaning of home mutates in different ways, and what actually home can mean, right? Is it a place? Is it a feeling? Is it something that you can find within yourself? Or is it the person that you have next to you? It can be all these different things. Can it be linked to culture? Can it be linked to spirituality? And we research, different ideas and topics that as we humans have to deal with on our daily existence. So to the core, it just comes to the very ontological question of what is it to exist, and why do we exist, and how to exist in a way that you feel comfortable with your existence. So, yeah.
I think this suits very well also with some of the topics the topic we're going to talk about today, in a way that, in a way, it's another aspect of existence, in a way, you know, to dealing with all these emotions, all these things that appear in our life.
Yeah.
And how to find maybe a partial or balanced truth to our question.
And recently you were working on a project regarding tarot
Oh, yeah.
and photography. You want to explain more about that?
I became really interested in spirituality just out of, I don't know if out of nowhere, but I was a huge believer growing up. I was raised Catholic. Then I kind of decided that this was not the religion I necessarily wanted to be linked to, but I needed to somewhere to kind of direct this sense of spirituality and wholeness to something. And then one day I just woke up and thought, I need to buy a tarot deck. And then after that, a lot of things started to unravel in front of my eyes. And it was also this feeling of, can we tap into the magic of the world? Can we tap into the like this connection that we have all together with the universe, with nature, with the person you have next to you. So like how to discover really the magic of the world. And then tarot was there to kind of help me to guide my intuition. And I started to practice it with a lot more people, and I started to invite people to do their tarot. And I thought I really want to continue my photography. So I decided on starting this project where I invite people over and I do their tarot, and according to that we find an aspect on one of the 78 cards of
78 cards.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
I
gonna
did
be-
not know it was that many.
It's gonna be a long project, but by the end of it I'm gonna be like really good at doing tarot, and I feel like so far it's actually been really beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're using iconography of tarot, and just in the end to have my own tarot deck with all the personalities and the people I've met in Groningen, all my friends, artists like you girls.
Yes,
Really
we're also
amazing.
gonna we should say that if you're interested in participating in this project, you can text Samantha. We're gonna put her Instagram somewhere, also her website.
I think there.
Somewhere there,
Somewhere.
you can see somewhere. It's gonna appear somewhere, but definitely message her if you want to be part of this project. And
she needs
I
a
think-
lot more participants. 'Cause-
And you get a cappuccino.
and a tarot reading. So
Tarot
what do you
reading,
have to
cappuccino,
miss? Yeah. So let's get into our topic:
conflict.
conflict. And more specifically, today we're here to talk about the fear that might come with it, or the avoidance that we have towards conflict.
Yeah.
And who better to talk to than Samantha?
Professional.
Professional. I think she has something really an interesting insight to bring into this, especially because me and Jordanka have the fear of conflict quite.
When we were discussing this, we were both like, we both have this big fear of conflict.
Yeah.
And Samantha was like,
And Samantha, no, you have to go in there, bam, bam, bam. She has this kind of like this more fiery, let's say, approach towards it. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna run away with it. No, you're not gonna run away from it.
Yeah.
So I think it's really great that you can bring this
and we can learn from you.
aspect. Yes, we're here to learn from you. Actually, secretly, we're just like, oh, Samantha, tell us what to do. Conflict. What is it, and why does it happen? How does it happen? How does conflict happen in everyday life? How?
I think we can just give like
How
the
do
basic
we-
definition first of all, for some people who literally have no clue. I think the ones who run away from it the most.
Yeah, you might not be aware also that you're actually
you can be
avoiding
surprised,
it.
you
So,
know.
what is conflict from your perspective? What exactly is conflict? How does conflict happen, or
Oh,
why
yeah.
does it happen?
All right,
Tell
so
us.
I think that conflict is, precisely just a disagreement of two opinions. But before that, something has to happen that is, how conflict emerges and is through confrontation. So two people have different opinions on a specific subject, or actually one person can have an opinion and the other person is completely unaware. That's another type of conflict. Or you feel unsatisfied about something, frustrated about something, and you need to say something about it, but you are scared of creating conflict. That is a conflict already.
Yeah.
So it's like Inception. Conflict Inception.
Conflict within conflict.
Yeah.
So it's like a clashing of needs, basically.
It's a clash of needs,
Yeah.
So you have something that you need to express, and you're avoidant to avoid conflict. But you have a conflict within yourself. So there, in that moment, conflict is yours. But it involves a lot of other aspects that if they're not tapped into, it becomes like this. So it stops from being only yours, like this.
In a way, in a sense. So that basically it's a disagreement between you and someone, simply put.
Yeah.
Today we're here to discuss specifically about with another individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do we maneuver that in particular? And
And we can use an example.
Yes, we would like to use an example.
Yeah. We were discussing one before we started this conversation.
Yes.
Did you come up with the specific one?
I can make it up. Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So it goes as follows.
2 hours later.
So this doesn't work. I have to use a better conflict.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, what is our example?
2,000 years later.
It's like a friend said something degrading about my body, let's say. I don't want to get into details about what but it was said as a joke, you know. Oh, ha ha ha, look at you and this thing. And because of that statement, it's made me distance myself from that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
None, do you have an example of a conflict that you
Oof.
had, which you felt really frustrated and you felt like, oh, I really wish I could say something, but I just really don't know what to say and I really don't know what to do in this situation. And I'm feeling really frustrated because I'm suffering in the inside.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to say something, I want to bring it up, but I don't know how. So if you can give me an example from that as well, we can work with both examples and then we have a broader...
The very classic case. My boyfriend is acting distant, but I'm afraid to go to him and say, hey, I feel like this. I'm afraid to express my feelings because I don't want conflict. That I've had that a lot in the past.
Rolling your eyes for something.
So it's a very classic case of I'm afraid to go and say, yo, this is bothering me, and I just keep it up inside. It builds up, and in the end I just explode, and I found myself like, no, you're doing this, because I'm scared that I shouldn't be feeling like this, or blah blah.
Yeah, I think like this is a great example. So I feel like maybe how you were feeling at the beginning was like, oh, I'm feeling like I'm not getting enough attention, or I'm feeling like I'm not loved in the way I want to, or there is some strange vibe I get from this person that it doesn't feel right in my heart, right? But I don't know how to describe it. So I feel like the first step to embark in a situation like this is to describe your feeling. What is happening to you? So you explain how you feel and you say, hey, you have to create a situation where the other person feels that you're bringing up something not that is against him or her, but that is something that is there and that is making you feel uncomfortable and that it has a reason and a place to be. It doesn't mean that I'm going to find something that we're going to call the problem and then we're going to pass around.
But the thing is that I have the fear of going up to this person.
Okay, so this is Nune.
Is this Nune?
No, this is Nune.
Okay.
And this is how Nune is feeling. Okay, so Nune is feeling heavy. She's feeling like there's something not right. So she wants to bring this to her partner. And she goes, okay, so there is something we need to discuss. And it's this. This is how I'm feeling right now. And I feel like we should both look at it. Because this is affecting me, and right now you're a very important person in my life, and what is affecting me, I feel like it will end up affecting you. So I'm feeling this way that I don't feel loved or taken care in the way I want to, and sometimes your actions and your words show me an aspect of you that I wish I wouldn't have to see because it hurts me. Right? So
I have what if the person you're presenting this problem with gets defensive?
Which is very
common.
Okay, so you have this, exactly. So I have this and I come to you, say, look, I'm not feeling nice, but honestly, I don't want to make you feel that you are the problem, but I want to discuss this and bring it up in order for our communication can bring me to an understanding of what is going on. Maybe it has nothing to do with me. Maybe it's something that's happening into your life, but I am feeling affected by it. right? In order to have a successful coming out of the conflict, is also to take the blame away from that person and to show vulnerability.
Yes.
And to show that you're open for understanding whatever the situation is. So also the use of open questions, it's quite helpful for these cases, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. What's an open question?
So, have you been feeling stressed lately? Is there something that is bothering you, that is giving you this attitude that I feel confronted by and that I feel uncomfortable with, right?
Yeah.
And I want you to be honest with me and just take it easy. I'm not putting a blame on you.
Yeah.
This is us or me trying to bring up something that is causing me a lot of frustration and insatisfaction, which is the way you've been treating me.
So an open question is to allow the other person more to engage with you in conversation, and a closed question is like a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why are you treating me like this? This
That
is a
also
question
has
that is like
aggression and guilt.
why are you treating me like this? But that person doesn't know yet that is maybe treating you in that way. You know?
There's more of that hint of
So you create a situation.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
That it's your fault or you're doing something wrong immediately, but they might not be aware that they're acting also differently.
So it's very important to know the stage in which the other person is before you engage in a conflict or in a, let's call it a discussion, because it yet doesn't become a conflict, right? So check on how they're doing and if they're doing okay, because maybe something that they're going through that you're not aware, it might be even bigger than your own problem. So you're gonna have to end up maybe helping them in order for afterwards they can help you.
That's
very
super
nice.
important
Yeah.
to realize also.
Yeah, help them to, in the end, to come
Help
together.
yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
The fear is still there. That what is it? What is the fear about? Understand what is it that scares me, let's say.
Yeah,
So-
you need to tell us.
I need to do
What
that.
are you scared of? No.
Yeah, because in the end, I think it's the mentality of it's me versus him, the other person, you versus me. We talked about this a little bit before. So I think going in with that mentality, it's like I'm scared that the other person will not understand. They will turn around and they will blame me for something. They will.
But where do you think that comes from?
Childhood trauma.
Childhood
Trauma.
Usually when you have a fear of
Yeah.
conflict, it's because your parents
Yes,
had this attitude of
it's
I win and you lose.
exactly.
I win, you lose. So if you enter into conflict situations, it's like, okay, we're gonna clash here, and then there's gonna be a break, like a rupture, and it's not gonna get fixed, you know, because usually conflict is resolved by two people coming together and saying, okay, we're friends again.
Yeah,
I love you.
yeah,
you
like-
know. But if you grew up in a situation where this never happened, then whenever this happens, you're like, oh my god, you know, I'm gonna lose this love, and I'm gonna be alone, and I'm gonna die alone, or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I think we should be very aware of that
Yeah.
when you go into conflict, that it's not me versus you, because you were talking about this before, that it's us together, like we were all just saying now, that we hold this together,
Yes.
and we're like gonna take care of this together, instead of like me taking it, throwing this on you.
So exactly. So this in a way turns into your well-being, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it is, right?
It is a matter
If
of
this is
trust also, because you have to trust that someone is also gonna take care of you and your interests and value you enough to listen. Because I know a lot of people who don't trust in their relationships, and that's what even creates most of the conflict, because it's not being brought up.
yeah, and also different kinds of expectations, you know, but certain expectations, if we remove them from being expectations and just being certain values that we have together in a relationship, because I think like what you really wanted to talk about was conflict in relationships, right?
yes.
So imagine, I'm gonna bring back the boat allegory because it just works so good every time. So
She's the boat lady.
the boat allegory. So One day, you and me decided to go on this journey through the Atlantic Ocean. And we said, oh my God, we really want to do this. Let's go do it. And we just took our bags and got on our boat. So in this boat, at the beginning, we're both really enthusiastic because it's a new journey. We're both doing a lot of things and like, okay, this is what we're learning now, how to do this and how to do that. But then the sea got a bit rough and I got a bit tired and I got a bit homesick and I got a bit just confused about why I'm in this boat actually, you know? And then my energy into this boat riding gets little and little and little. Nune, on the other hand, she's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Rowing, full speed, getting like the best out of it. And then she looks back and it's like, it's like,
oh, that's so exactly. Wow, this is such a good.
with one hand, maybe with the other hand, like,
Oh.
and you're like, but come on, I'm here putting all my effort into riding this boat and you're there like, no, it just doesn't work like that, you know?
Yeah.
So Nune is upset because she thinks, oh my God, how can it be possible? We packed our bags, decided to go on this journey, and now you're there, like rowing halfway. Oh my God, I just can't deal with this, you know? I'm just gonna go and have myself a cup of tea alone in the toilet of this boat because I just simply cannot deal with you. What is happening here?
I think that's such a good analogy or thing because, yeah, I see what you mean, that instead of turning around and start screaming at this person, you actually turn around like more compassionate, you know, in a compassionate way and ask, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on? Why are you like this, you know, like...
And this can be easily solved also by like pinpointing things that are quite visible, you know. For example, this is a whole metaphor, all right? But, okay, he's rowing only with one hand and you're like, okay, but are you okay? Is your arm okay? So pinpointing on things that are obvious and that are visible to people. So if we put it in a context of a relationship, you come home and this person is just sitting on his phone and you're feeling like, this is so upsetting. I wish he would be doing something more productive. But what you might not know is that under that shield, he might or she might be struggling with something bigger. So first is to become aware of what the situation for the other person is, instead of immediately blaming, immediately feeling frustrated. But if you are scared already that you coming up to them and telling, I think you're not rowing good enough, is gonna destroy them, so you avoid it, you only make the problem bigger because you're also being unaware of how this person feels. While you are feeling that this person is unaware of how you are feeling.
Yeah, actually. And when you look at people in their arguments, they're usually not arguing about the thing that they're actually upset about. You know, there's like here's the thing that they're arguing about, but there's a hurt underneath that has started this thing that they're not refusing to actually talk about.
So true.
And if you watch from a third person perspective, you can sort of see what these people are actually arguing about, and they're just miscommunicating or whatever. But when you're in it, you can't see. Like, let's say I'm
even with the boat.
Yeah, with the boat, like even or with the
saying,
phone, I can be yelling at someone for being on their phone, but the actual thing that I'm upset about is I feel ignored or I feel neglected in something. So it has nothing to do with the phone.
Yeah. But so if we also take, for example, this is guilt, right? And in conflict, usually we go like this. And then you go like,
excuse me,
you give it to me like,
no,
take it back. And it's like this. It's your, no. You know? But instead of doing this, we could actually be like, let's look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not me against you. It's not me against you not rowing hard enough because I'm also rowing. You know, it's not you being angry at me for telling you that you're not drawing good enough. It's, let's look at the situation. What are our goals together that your actions and my actions are not working towards? So if we have a goal and what I do doesn't approach the goal, then it's easier for us to identify what is the problem. You know, because I feel like also a lot of times in conflict is people argue about absolutely different things. Like people are together arguing about what they think is one thing, but then they start throwing shit about the past and about like things that have nothing to do. So you realize that you're talking and discussing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And actually these two people are, it's like they're on opposite sides of the planet, you know, when they're throwing these things at each other. They're not in the same headspace together.
I have a question.
About?
Why is conflict important?
Oh, I want to answer this one.
Voila.
Well, conflict is inevitable, you know. At some point in your life, you're going to get into conflict with other people because you're an individual and, you know, you're an individual and you're an individual. We have separate perspectives of the world. And the only way we can grow in terms of our perspective and our openness towards other people is through conflict. Because all we know is our own little bubble until someone comes to us and brings this new perspective and how they're feeling. And that invites us to open up and see, oh, I never knew about this. I never knew I was doing this, you know. I never knew you could feel like that.
So it gives a chance to evolve.
Yes.
And to find a truth that comforts both parties, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And then it makes the relationship even deeper. You connect to this person even more. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but after you've had like a conflict resolution with somebody, you're even closer with them. Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand you way more than I did 2 hours ago.
Bring you together.
Yeah. I feel like
we have good conflict.
the main thing is communication, right? So when we hold things in ourselves and we don't communicate it, this already starts to become a little thing in the back of your head that is going to bother you.
Yeah.
And I feel like bringing these things up, it's a sign of self-respect, you know? I'm confident about what I feel. I acknowledge my feelings, and whatever I feel is true. And I stand for what I believe in, and I feel like this situation seems unfair or it makes me feel frustrated, so I want to discuss what is happening to me with you because you're the person involved in the situation, right? So...
Yeah. And actually, when you do bring up your opinions in this situation, it's like your self-worth also increases more because it's like you're proving to yourself, I am worthy of having this
opinion.
Yeah.
And this thing to say.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like, it can go so broad as well. I would like to maybe, I don't know how to say this. How to give a good example as well about if women at some point in history wouldn't have been like, this is not right. I feel like we deserve better.
Yeah.
We would still not be allowed to vote, and we would still be nothing and nobody without marriage. So I think like these conflicts have brought women to society now to be way more empowered and more present, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, we should think of practical tips.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah. We start with the fear.
how to not run away, like, when you feel it in the moment, when you get this overwhelming feeling of, a conflict is happening and you just want to run away. You're like, please don't fight, if it's with someone else or if it's with you and your friend, your partner, and you just want to be like, oh, I'm sorry, can we please don't fight about this? I'm sorry, you're right. This is, how you can go. How to not do that in the moment.
I think number one is breathing.
Breathe.
Just breathe.
First of all, I also think that if you're in a presence of a conflict that makes you feel uncomfortable, the worst thing you can do is get involved. If this is not your conflict, you walk out that door and you extend yourself from this situation, because third person in conflicts, this is worse.
But there are actually people who force themselves inside because they're afraid of the conflict, so they're trying to fix it.
Exactly. And then you're gonna, you have to think, this is not me who's being affected, and the people that are having this conflict are hopefully two adults. Of course, if you see two children hitting each other, please do get involved. But if it's two adults that are having a conversation and they're having a conflict, the worst thing that can happen is a third person getting involved. I feel like this is just...
unless they're told to, like a therapist.
Unless they're invited to, hey, we are having this situation, Nune, how can you help us, you know? But just in the presence of a conflict where you feel uncomfortable, leave. If you feel empowered that maybe you can say something so both parties can be see good in, then it's maybe something good to say. But even like involving in conflicts of other people is just a big no. I believe, at least. Like, you don't want your mother-in-law coming and being like, hey, how about this problem? He's like, no. Or your the friend of your boyfriend being like,
what advice would you give to someone like me who like shuts up or freezes up in like conflict? Like, let's say my boyfriend is upset with me. I am automatically, you know, and he wants me to engage.
And you're just frozen, like about to cry.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you crying? You're just talking. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Did I do something wrong? Wow.
Okay, in that position, this is a great example. So he is upset and he comes to you being upset. First of all, I would say to your boyfriend, come kindly and don't scare her.
Be compassionate towards each other.
But when you see him frustrated, because this is common, people are frustrated, people express their frustration and they're free to do so, you know, like, and I feel like we're overwhelmed, but what we don't see is that they're actually more vulnerable than you in that moment, because they're actually taking the step to bring up something that is making them feel frustrated and uncomfortable. So you have to see also their vulnerability in it and feel like, okay, in this moment, it's not about me because I have no idea what this is about, right? So he comes to you, hey, I don't like this donut here in this plate. I feel like just, no, man, I don't think it is. What you should do is start to ask questions so you can get a deeper understanding of what he is going through. And
exactly what he is saying as well.
Exactly,
because it might not be too clear. That's good. So calmly question a bit more to get in more in depth.
I feel like the best way to solve conflicts and to go through conflicts is just plenty of explanations, and the use of examples as well really helps. To detach yourself from the problem, to both of you detach yourself from the problem and look at it on the outside perspective and how the problem affects both of you, rather than it being, this is my problem, so I deal with it, you know? So how can we both deal with it together? And if you are conflict avoidant, so you have fear of conflict and you don't bring it up, but also don't dare to talk when it comes to you, this is actually, you have to realize that you are hurting the other person, you know? Because this person deserves and would like to have an explanation in order to understand and to cope with this feeling. And when we find reason, then we can calm our feelings, right? Because we can understand them and we can give it a place. I think.
A few moments later.
So how to go through a conflict and feel strong throughout and not minimize yourself and be persistent
Empowered,
and empowered. Yeah, you wanna let's someone is gonna give us some tips.
So I got to learn something from an amazing person, my therapist. He's great.
Shout out to the third.
Shut up! I got to understand that body language in a conflict is what's like also gonna give you the key for whatever you're saying. It goes also with how you present it, and that it has coherence with who is saying it, and in a way that, how to say this? I'm gonna give you an example. So we could do a little role play, and I will tell you how to.
They're gonna do a role play.
So this is some role play. I don't know what to do. Okay,
I am the observer.
guide
Okay,
me.
let's say you're angry at me because I'm not rowing the boat the way you expect me to row the boat. So you're gonna come tell me what's up. So I am here feeling
Mhm.
a little bit shit,
Mhm.
rowing too little.
Mhm. Okay. So how do I come?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this is a test. Okay, so. Hey Samantha,
Oh, hey.
how are you, first of all?
Yeah, I just feeling a little bit tired. I ate a pizza out of our amazing oven in the boat, but it's just got me feeling a little bit weird. And I'm not sure if I should go home or if we should continue this journey. Cause, yeah, I kind of wanna, play football with my friends.
Wow. Well, it's hard for me to hear that. It kind of makes me sad, and I actually wanted to talk to you about this because I've noticed that lately you're not rowing the way we did in the beginning, and I was wondering why is that? If you have any problems, or you really want to stop, or how are you feeling about us continuing the boat, and why is it that you're thinking of stopping?
So you think I'm not rowing good enough?
Oh shit, she's putting me on the spot. I sense that in contrast with the beginning, that you don't have the same motivation, and I'm not saying this in a blameful way. I don't want to make you feel bad. I'm just wondering why is it that I've sensed this change in the rowing.
Yeah, but I don't get it because, like we started to row and the beginning was amazing, but you're now telling me that I don't row good enough, and I don't know why are you telling me this, or how is this a problem that I'm not rowing good enough, like.
And this is the part where I run. Sorry. This is the part where I just.
What would empowered Nune do?
What would empower Nune to do would be like, hey, I'm talking to you. You're looking at the person in the eyes. You need to make sure that your target is not
Target.
but whoever you're communicating something important to is looking to your eyes.
Yeah. You shouldn't look down.
Yeah. Oh,
If I come to you and say, I think you're not good enough.
think.
It's like, I don't think you're telling me anything good enough because I'm doing perfect. You need to come also with, like, you don't want to come across like cocky or little bitch attitude, whatever, but just, confident and being like, I want to understand you, therefore I look into your eyes because I want to also try to read your soul. Okay? So whatever you're going to tell me now in this moment that I'm looking into your eyes is going to be also true. So
Wow.
you have to have a posture. Also, like if
Yeah.
also in situations happens that you want to confront somebody, but you're confronting them from the couch while they're standing in the kitchen. That doesn't work. You need to confront them in a moment where you're both sitting at the same height.
Yes.
You can look at
Wow.
each other in the eyes, and you can have a posture that represents that you are secure about what you're gonna say and that you're not doubtful, that you're sure that what you're saying has a reason to be there and that you want to mention it because it's true what you're feeling, right?
Yeah.
I think the same goes for when someone is
That's really
expressing
powerful.
something to you. Because usually the normal thing people do is they face away when someone is like bringing something to them, and it's like they're trying to escape.
Trying to escape.
You know? Yeah.
It's like, come here.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you, and I need you to listen to me, and I need you to look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them to look at you.
Yeah.
This is, I think,
Wow.
something very, very important, to ask them to look at you. So then whatever you're saying, it's also going straight to them. It's not getting lost in the room, or they can have this attitude of I'm listening, but I'm also doing something else because I am thinking of my comeback. When you look at them in the eyes, there is no time to think of a comeback unless it is actually the reasonable comeback,
Yeah.
according to what you're actually telling me. Because what people tend to do as well is they bring stuff that has nothing to do in that moment. And you're like, but I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, to like deflect or
Yeah,
like
to
avoid, yeah.
avoid. These are all different kinds of conflict avoiding.
Do you feel resistance when you hear this advice? Like, I could never.
Yeah. I mean, I will try. I'm looking at the past and I'm realizing that I didn't do that, and
Yeah.
I actually can see that, oh wow, that definitely had a... Because the thing is, actually I had the opposite, that the other person would avoid, and I'd be like, hey, but sometimes I also had that, I want to talk about this, look at me, and they would just turn their back and like, oh no, so that's really...
And this is also a moment where you really think to yourself, do I deserve this treatment? Is this the moment where I shall choose for myself whether this is worth it, whether this conflict is worth it fighting for? Because conflict is only beneficial when both parties are willing and open to understand.
That's super important.
Otherwise, you gotta pack your bags, my dear, and get out of there. Because a truth is, we cannot change people that are not open to evolve and to want to become the better versions of themselves.
That's true.
So this is something you have to recognize, I think. Whether is this person open to listening? If this person is not open to listening, I don't know, but this relationship is gonna drain you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Because in the end, the purpose of conflict is to evolve, to come together and have a
shared truth.
Yes.
And find a equal solution for both parties to feel they can thrive in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not about, I win. I was right, you were wrong.
No.
I got what I wanted, and
they even call that the zero-sum game. Have you guys heard of that term?
No.
Zero-sum game. That's what they call the me against you. So there has to be one winner and one loser. And that's what perpetuates all the problems on this planet.
What is it called again?
Zero-sum game.
Zero-sum game. Yeah. And the gaslighting game?
Yeah.
This is very like, oh my god, also part of conflict.
Gaslighting.
When people make you think that just because you're confronting them with a problem, the problem is yours. And you are the one having the problem. And you should go away and deal with your problem.
Or it doesn't exist.
Or it doesn't exist.
Yeah. I hate it so much.
That is so true. And it's really it also has to do a lot with responsibility, actually. Then it means that another advice, I guess, is like, take responsibility and don't be afraid to take responsibility. We should take a little bit of responsibility for others. So I'm not saying that I'm completely responsible about your emotions, but I did play my role in this situation. So when a conflict appears, it means that it's not only your problem and you have to go away, like you said, that was so powerful, that you go away, deal with it, and come back. No, stay with me, hold my hand, and let's work through on it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like also how to deal when people are gaslighting you. I feel like when somebody it's gaslighting you, what you can do is also show them the consequences of the situation as it is already. And if this person is unable to recognize it,
then that's also something that you have to debate.
And then it's also that
it's worth it.
If it's worth it, you have to consider for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do I deserve this? Do I have the right to feel like this? And if indeed, if it is my problem, why am I having it then?
And then we go into the chapter of you have to ask yourself questions, remember? Like, why do I feel like this? Why does this bother me? Yeah, that's a whole other chapter.
Yeah, and we should make a whole video talking about gaslighting because I hate it so much.
Yeah,
it's
my favorite.
Let's.
Say, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Here.
You would like to conclude on our little cute topic?
Conflict is very valuable, and you should even be excited when it happens, because here's an opportunity. Because also, you can either be anxious about something or excited about something. It's the same feeling. It's the same energetic sensation, you know? So you can use this opportunity to be excited by the fact that here you have this opportunity to really get to know this person
and to grow
and yourself, you know, because a lot of shit is going to come up. You're going to get defensive and you know, and you would have never learned about yourself unless this thing came up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is really true. Yeah.
Intense.
I have to say that one way to avoid conflict is say what you want. Speak out your truth, stand for what you believe in, and then people that know you and see you as a strong person won't try to shake your plank. You know what I mean? Like, if you are strong and confident about what you believe, you know exactly what to take and what not to take. And when you come across with a conflict, people are gonna know that you're coming across with it because it is true, you know? And stand for yourself, be confident about yourself, come across and look at them in the eyes and be like, hey,
I'm worth it.
I want to talk about something, you know? Like, make sure that your tone of voice is clear, that you are facing them, that he or she is not walking away while you're talking.
Yeah.
Because then, don't chase them.
But don't chase them.
Let them
Please,
go.
let's resolve this conflict. Like, bye. I'm out.
But then it's your moment to say, then I say bye.
Oh shit.
And then you get serious.
Yeah.
Because you're not there to take stuff that you don't deserve. Nole, what did you learn today? What does Sharkira have to say?
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, I learned a lot. Well, from my experience, I guess, I realized even more that we shouldn't run away from conflict. It's okay to have it. And I really liked from what you said about like being the eye level. It's really important to, you know, the tone of your voice, everything, like have all that in mind. And also that you can learn so much from conflict, like let's fight, you know, this attitude, like not really bad, but like let's argue right now, it's gonna be good, you know, with the idea that it's gonna be good instead of like, fuck, I have to actually have this argument with you, no, I don't want to, we're doing so good or whatever, you know.
I feel like conflict can also come in a different mood. You know what I mean? Like saying something in a
playful,
in a kind of cool, playful way, like, hey, what do you think? Come here. This is not gonna get done on its own. Like, hey, let's do it together. Come. You know? Like in an encouraging way as well.
Yeah. Instead of like, Yeah, I think I realized very, very clearly that it's not about, oh, you are the one with the problem and you're like this sad, hurt puppy, and the other person is like this monster is like, what are you talking about? No, you know, like it's not, that's not it. So
Because
that's
that
out
only
of the
makes them
window.
more empowered, you know.
Yes,
like
yes.
if you become smaller, they feel like they.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Aquí, we are the same here.
We are
sitting
same,
next to
we
each
are
other.
here.
You're gonna talk about this thing that I'm not
Yeah.
liking it, and
It's us versus
The
the
problem.
Yeah.
Us versus the problem.
Put that in capital letters. That's the
Us
problem.
versus the problem.
Yeah.
You as well. Like,
did you be getting involved?
we throw it. Oh, so nice. So nice having you on as our first official guest on Facing Love.
Yes, thank you so much, Samantha, for
Thank you
inviting
so
us
much.
to your
Thank you.
lovely abode, cave.
Even both.
Thank you for coming.
And for the tea.
Yes, and for also Sharkisha, who we didn't. Is it Sharkisha? Sharkira.
Oh, Sharkisha, I like that.
Oh.
This
And also
Sharkira.
the setting that was created in like 5 minutes with the skills of the artist over here. Don't forget to message her if you want to have your cute little tarot card. Like, wow, like
Tarot.
why would you want that? Like you would be
You'd be in a card.
a
Yeah,
a
a character,
persona
yeah.
in a tarot deck. So message her because she needs a bunch of people for that. And you can go to her profile. We're gonna put her Instagram, and you can see also. Have you posted the photos yet or no?
Not yet.
Not yet. You can follow her, and she puts on her stories sometimes, and you can get a sneak
It
peek.
looks so good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. Thank
Oh,
you
this is
for
cute,
watching
guys.
again,
Thank you for watching.
and keep sending us those questions. You know.
And remember, if you got something to say, just go for it. Don't keep it to yourself. It's not yours only.
Yes.
Share it with the world.
Oh my gosh. Yay.
Yay.
What a beautiful way to end this.
Ciao.
Nice. Oui.
That was such a nice way to end it.
Yay.
Like a final statement. That was so beautiful.
That was some big sister energy.
Oh, it smells so nice also.